One stream up. Oh, hey. Looks like it might be working. My goodness. What do we do now? We have a morning show. That's what we do. Oh, my goodness. Look at that. Everything is lining up and... Oops. Stay right there. And then you go here. Nice. All right. Looks like it may not be a complete disaster this morning, but whatever hack job happened to my stuff, well, guess what? I still win. I think my phone is still going to work, so Paul can call me a little later this morning. And there we go. Look at that. It's getting better. Oh my goodness. It's like when I clicked on a story and then the whole thing just went to hell. And I was actually kind of excited about this story. This is one of those, can you believe this happened here and not there? Unbelievable. All right. I think I can let the music go now that I'm actually, stuff is working. All right. Apparently New York is, New York is New York, man. They just don't like what's happening there at all. I don't know how to pronounce Houchel flies on New York's dime as everyone struggles to fill the gas tanks. That's right. Apparently somebody's enjoying their state-sponsored vacation coming out of New York Post. This dropped at 5 o'clock this morning. Do I have an author? Zach Williams. Governor Kathy Hochul took time off from New York City on a state-owned Beechcraft King Air 350 in September to attend the Buffalo Bills home opener with her husband Bill. While New Yorkers are reeling from sky-high gas prices that force them to choose between driving to work, a trip to the store, or a family vacation, Governor Kathy Hochul has been hitching rides on their dime and avoiding traffic altogether by flying to most places. That's right, the governor hit the friendly helicopter or airplane a whopping 140 times in the first 7 months since she took office last August, with costs to taxpayers estimated at upwards of $170,000, record review by the New York Post show. The governor's personal frequent flyer program is immune to things like rising gas prices, cancellation delays, and lost luggage, Assembly Minority Leader William Barclay told the Post. He's a Republican out of Oswego. Unfortunately, the everyday taxpayer, the people paying the bill for her questionable and costly traveling, don't have the same kind of luxury. Well, no, I don't have access to a Beechcraft and a pilot 24 hours a day. And the cost to taxpayers of the flights has also increased in recent months, given skyrocketing fuel prices for cars, airplanes, and helicopters, which use leaded jet fuel. The average price for gas in New York State soared from $3.19 a year ago to $4.70 on Sunday, according to AAA, while specialized fuel for aircraft has experienced a similar jump amid a supply crunch. Now, let's see. They fly around on a Sikorsky 76D, $2,500 an hour. That's including your pilot, your fuel, your maintenance, anyway. Governor Hochul, here got a little graphic, made more than 100 flights. Can I save this? I guess I can. That would be cool. So now I can go here and say Bing, 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 Bing. Oh. Yep. So if you all want to follow along here on your screen, more than 100 flights on state aircraft between August 21st. Right, so we have airplane flights and helicopter flights. Going to New York City, Long Island. Look at this. Airplane flights to Buffalo to New York to Buffalo 13. Albany to New York City, 10 on a helicopter, 12 on an airplane. New York to Albany, 17 on a helicopter, 5 on an airplane. Buffalo to Albany, 7 on an airplane, returning 4 on an airplane. New York to Hudson Valley, including Westchester, a helicopter ride. 3 helicopter rides on the way back. Let's see. Albany to Hudson Valley, including Westchester. 4 there, 3 back on a helicopter. To Long Island, 4 there, 4 back on a helicopter. Rochester to Buffalo, 1 there, 3 back on an airplane. Rochester to Albany, 2 there, 1 back on an airplane. The rest of these are airplane. Buffalo to Syracuse, there and back on an airplane. Albany to Syracuse. Why is she going Albany to Syracuse? Well, okay. Gas prices this summer has been as high as $5 a gallon, reached June 14. Public records show Hochul flew at least 131 hours between August 23rd, when she took over for disgraced ex-governor Andrew Cuomo, and the end of March 2022. A flight on a Sikorsky 76D operated by state police cost taxpayers about $2,500 an hour, while the Beechcraft King Air runs about $1,300 an hour. The Democrats' total flight time and estimated cost per hour suggests her trips over that time period have cost taxpayers somewhere around $170,000, barring any reimbursements the governor might have made. She just shouldn't have access. Many more flights could be likely as Hochul crisscrosses the state ahead of the November 8 gubernatorial election with the help of jumbo jet-sized campaign war chest. The governor's limited use of state aircraft has raised gas prices, and she suspended gas taxes for all New Yorkers through the end of the year, Hochul spokesperson Hazel Crampton Hayes said in an email. The Hochul administration did not provide a total price tag for the flights, but did not dispute that the jaunts result in at least some significant cost to the public. The governor's flying schedule remains on pace with Cuomo, who caught heat for pushing the limit of state ethics rules with his trips on New York-owned aircraft. Well, Rachel Faust, a senior research analyst at Good Government Group Reinvent Albany, said Hochul could veer into questionable territory if her use of state aircraft is dovetailing with personal or campaign purposes. When there is state business, it is appropriate to use state aircraft, but when it bleeds into personal or campaign business, that should be paid for by the governor herself or campaign, not the taxpayers. While many of Hochul's flights seemingly meet that standard, transporting her to keep meetings, events, and press briefings, others appear to fall short. For instance, the governor took off from New York City on the state-owned Beechcraft King Air 350 in September to attend the Buffalo Bills home opener, the only event listed on her public schedule, with her husband Bill. How's that working out? Unbelievable. All right, we might have to take a quick jump here. Because this puppy just keeps going. I don't know if we've got the 20 minutes to read it all. Ooh. Apparently her campaign had to pay back the state $11,000 earlier in the year after reporting by the Times Union, which highlighted how Hochul used state aircraft to reach campaign fundraisers to the Bills game were never reimbursed according to her public schedules. This governor has not been governor that long yet, right? But I think it's fair to say she's had a bumpy start. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is who we quoting Bill Moore here, we get the government we deserve. You believe that? I do. Because it's true. It's true. Really? It's true. All right. Yeah, we're going to take a earlier than normal break because the coffee has had its effect far sooner than I anticipated. Yeah, why not? And here we are. So, with that in mind, We are going to take a news and weather break, and when we come back, we should be joined by our friend Mr. Bill Moore of the Brunswick County GOP. Don't go nowhere.
Hello, I'm Matt Bennett with WWAY News. Former Wilmington Police Chief Darrell Lee Brussel has died. Wilmington Police made the announcement Sunday, saying the former chief touched the lives of many in the community. The 88-year-old was appointed to serve as chief of the Wilmington Police Department in 1975 and served with distinction until his retirement in 1991, the longest-serving chief of police in Wilmington's history. A celebration of life memorial service will be held on Friday morning at 10 at Winter Park Presbyterian Church on Wrightsville Avenue. Wilmington police have arrested a man after an apparent shooting Friday night. Officers responding to a shots fired call near Medding Road around 8:30 noticed that a vehicle had been struck. They were able to obtain a suspect vehicle description and later located and stopped the car in the 4200 block of Hoggard Drive. Police arrested 18-year-old Anthony Gwynn. He is charged with carrying a concealed weapon, discharging a firearm within city limits, and going armed to the terror of the public. He is being held at the New Hanover County Detention Center under a $50,000 bond. Mother Hubbard's Cupboard has gotten a $4,500 grant from the Food Lion Feeds Charity. The organization will use the gift to purchase food for many people experiencing food insecurity in the Cape Fear region. Mother Hubbard's Cupboard serves the hungry in the Wilmington area through distributing emergency food provided by volunteers in collaboration with community organizations and businesses. And if you're hoping to hit it big on the lottery, you have another chance this week. The Mega Millions jackpot is expected to grow to $530 million for Tuesday's drawing, after Friday's drawing failed to produce a winner. That makes it the 8th highest in Mega Millions history. For more on these stories, you can head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Matt Bennett. Have a great day.
Happy Monday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Storm Track 3 forecast. A few scattered showers and storms in store for us on this Monday, especially as we head into the early afternoon hours with our temperatures climbing all the way up into the upper 80s and the low 90s for inland communities, middle and upper 80s for the coast, with the high-end risk for rip currents for south-facing beaches later today. As for tonight, expecting mainly quiet conditions across the Cape Fear as we drop down to the middle and the upper 70s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
Marine Service Pro and the Tackle Box Seafood, located at 8210 River Road, Southport, is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, with the Tackle Box open Monday through Saturday, 7 to 6. Marine Service Pro is a full Suzuki and Tohatsu dealership. They deal in pre-owned boats, full service and repair, with certified technicians in all engines, and fiberglass specialists. The Tackle Box offers fresh local seafood, live bait, a tackle shop, and fish packing and shipping. They also offer a full-service U-Haul dealership. Spend time with Leon or Jenny for one-stop shopping at Marine Service Pro and the Tackle Box Seafood, 8210 River Road, Southport.
O'Leary's Automotive Repair has multiple locations in the area in Hampstead, Leland, the Myrtle Grove area, Ogden, and Wrightsboro. O'Leary's Automotive Repair, a trusted, locally owned business since 2006.
Welcome back. Hey, so when you steal a radio station and shove it in your house and you try to run a morning program, You run into domestic issues. In this case, my next door neighbor, it's a duplex, and the person I share a wall with, the two people, they're moving out, and apparently, because I have headphones on, I can't hear much of anything. And apparently they've been knocking on the door for a minute trying to get their massive steamroller job-looking massive moving truck into the driveway. And they didn't want to crush my little car. So, yeah, sorry for the delay. I had to go out and go get it. And move my car. So, welcome back to the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad, right here on the Big Talker Network. Yeah, you like that, huh? Fancy stuff. Yeah, you want to go to thebigtalker.live, visit the website. You can peruse our schedule of content growing every week. Hertel, what's going on over here? I think I have a computer freaking out over here because I tried to bring a guest in and you don't want to play nice no more. What's up with that? Come on now. But I bet my guest is there waiting for me, wondering where I am. But I've lost internet. That is really, really weird. Oh, there we go. At least I have the connection back. I have the computer back. But I still don't have a guest. It's pretty crazy. Well, anyway. I guess I can describe some of the nerdle stuff. I mean, as long as nobody's here, I'm not going to bore anybody, which is nice. So some of our capabilities in doing remote productions has graduated to a point that we can have 3 remote connections while live in person and still take 2 phone calls. Yeah. Once I'm done with this, all the bits and pieces get here from China and wherever the hell else they're coming from. Once it all gets here, I'm going to install it all in a massive little rolling box. And then you won't be able to stop me. If you want examples of our work, I encourage you to visit the Big Talker website and peruse the voice and pen material. The videos for that are absolutely amazing. We do all that with the same production material. I mean, with 5 video sources, you have your choice of using cameras or video remotes or whatever you want. Oh, look at that. That's the whole stream. Look at that. There's the voice and the pen. Oop, except I wrote it pan because I'm stupid. And I type really, really fast, and sometimes nobody looks over my shoulder to say, hey, dude, you hit the wrong button. Oh, mate. That's ridiculous. That's getting just a little too freaky. Because everything else seems to be working just fine. But this one seems to be giving me issue. I don't know why. Must be Windows. That could very well be it. I could be wrong about that. Seldom am I. I'm usually pretty much right on top of things when it comes to that. I built this thing. If it fails, I generally know what's going on and what I need to fix. But in this case, hey. Okay, so we have up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 video sources. They can be remote connections. They can be super cool HD cameras, or they can be little tiny webcams. I can also use your laptop or iPad or tablet, which you may be using for a presentation. I can then take that full screen or onto the screen. I can take that as a source. Let's see, we can handle up to 4 to 6 live people with headphones. It really helps to have headphones. It really does. Because you don't know what you sound like if you're like turning to the side and I'm listening to your cheek. If you can hear that in the headphones, chances are you will correct yourself. And I don't have to sit there and yell at you and throw pretzel bits trying to get your attention to say, hey, talk into the mic. But anyway, whole lot of fun. That's just unbelievable. Huh. That's just like steadily. What's up with that? I got a connection, I don't have a connection. I got a connection, I don't have a connection. I really don't care. Then I don't know which meeting you're on, buddy. Well, if that's not the one, then I gotta find out which one it is. I was pretty sure it was that one. Turn the camera off. I don't know how we ended up with 2 different invites there, buddy, but my apologies for that. Hang on. Computer's still giving me issues. There we go. Working on it. It has to be a Monday.
Yes, it does.
And that's got to be, let's see if I did this right. Nope. See, even then. So how you been?
I'm doing well. Raining down here in Leland. Doing well otherwise.
Oh, no, I don't want your rain here. No, keep your rain there. We don't need it.
Can't understand you, TK. You're coming in with, sounds very tinny.
Well, I'm just saying we don't want any more rain out in this part of the country. We've been flooded.
Yeah, actually, Wilmington was hit with a lot more than Leland. We're still at mini drought stages, so rain here is not a bad thing. Wilmington may have been over flooded, but the clouds kept missing Leland and headed to your side of the town, so your side of the river.
Well, I'm a little further north than that.
Okay, well, that's fine. That's true. You're up there.
So yeah, we had a bit of an incident with some of the material from our neighbors' yards coming into our own.
That could be a problem.
And that tends
Well, it depends what it is. If it's a gold mine it's leaking over, that's not a bad thing.
No, just a bunch of rotten, dry rotted Adirondack chairs from the Dollar General.
Oh, very, very good Adirondack chairs. You only get the best at Dollar General.
Oh yeah, those plastic resin jobs are amazing.
Yeah, can't argue with people working.
So other than getting the wrong address when inviting you to the party this morning, how's it going in Brunswick County? What are we looking forward to tomorrow?
We are looking forward to a very different show. As you know, Mary has taken a 6-week vacation, and she's heading back to Maine from where she comes, and she's going up there to, she's got some property up there and relatives, so she's going back up there to look around. And I heard rumors that she's going to try and find the 8 people that live in Maine that are supported by the 12 windmills and make sure all that adds up together. But we'll see how that report comes when she gets back.
Now, did they die from cancer of the windmill, or were they buried under all the dead birds from the windmills?
Could be both. It could be both, or it could be the fact that they're using so much fossil fuel to power those windmills when the wind's not blowing. That they're just putting a fuel shortage up in Maine. So those 8 people are really in trouble fuel-wise. But Mary will get an answer and be back to us.
Well, if they put enough politicians in that area, those windmills are probably going to fly off the handle.
Yep, probably so. The biggest question is going to be what they do with those large 500 or 600 foot arms when they become useless. Because at this point, they are not recyclable. And there's a place out in the far west that they're digging large holes and bury them in.
And some of them are being repurposed in a number of creative and artistic manner, but they're not. It's not anything remarkable. But you can take bits and pieces of this stuff and make like a playground fencing. I think is one of them. They just made like
build the Eiffel Tower for the size of them.
That's what I'm saying. It's like we could do all kinds of things with them. So I'm not going to get too upset about it yet because the creativity of the second level. Right, because all the engineers and the fancy people who made these things are on the front end of getting the electricity built. Then there's going to be a bunch of third world people like me that they're going to pick up one of these blades and they're going to make something artistic out of it.
Heck, that could very well be. And the other good side of that, to be fair to the industry, is there is a company that has just developed recyclable blades.
Oh, nice. Okay. See?
So that's new. That's fairly new coming out, but shortly, if they catch on, and hopefully they will, these blades will become recyclable, which will answer one of the critics' problems, and it's one of the problems I had with them. So that might make it a little bit more palatable. If they can generate more electricity and it's recyclable, then it might make it more powerful, more palatable to the rest of us. But anyway, for that being that's what it is. On the show tomorrow night, All Things Brunswick, Dan and I are being joined by Greta, who's going to sit down and be a co-host with us.
All right.
And we're going to be discussing a lot of issues. Not having any guests on this week. We're going to just be discussing issues that are in the news and whatever else, and giving you the slant from the three of us. Though we do have to we have to lower one of the mics for Greta. My friend Dan described it when he watched her when he was off last week. It was a microphone with blonde hair. So, and then she called herself, and we told her that you made me.
That's one of my favorite songs.
Somebody.
I give it a 7. It's got a pretty good beat, but the lyrics are crap.
That's just somebody calling me back from a problem I had yesterday, and they're finally getting around to look at it. So it's not right now. So there you go. Now I'm busy talking to a good friend and some people. Anyway, I found a couple of things to talk about, which I found extremely interesting.
Oh.
And we'll see how long it lasts. As long as you find it interesting.
All right.
Let's start with a friend of mine. We all talk about what both sides are putting out. Here's what we need to do to win. Here's what we need to make it happen. Here's what the people want to hear. Well, someone actually went out to find out what the people think is important and not necessarily what we think is important. So anyway, it came up with a list of 10, and admittedly, these are not in any particular order. So they're not rank ordered. They're just the top thing in the majority of people that he spoke to his mind. Number 1, surprise. Poor leadership at government level. Can you imagine? Can you even imagine that our government is not leading us the best way they possibly can?
Where?
My goodness, shocked.
Not in North Carolina.
I heard a rumor that they would not, that the Shaw would not refill. Biden asked to get his tanks topped off to go home, and he wouldn't fill them up because nobody wanted him to come home. But that's just a rumor, of course.
Well, the new mayor of New York is under fire for extravagant travel on state pay or dime, like going to the Buffalo Bills season opener game on the state-funded Beechcraft King Air aircraft. She's made over 140 flights in the first 6-7 months of her office. She's on par to match or exceed Cuomo's traveling agenda. So maybe that's it, right? When gas goes up to $5 a gallon, we should all fly to Cancun or Texas or all over the state. We don't have to worry about lost luggage, right? Because it's a state aircraft. You don't have to worry about TSA, right? Everybody should be this lucky.
Well, yeah, and then hopefully when they land her someplace, she'll come down with something COVID and have to lock her up for 2 weeks to save the rest of the state.
Or get her for pickpocketing or grifting or something of that nature.
she's a leader that's been picking the pockets of the people in New York for too many years. But if they, if they keep putting her back in office, you get what you vote for. So
I quoted you this morning. We get the government we deserve, I believe was how you put it.
Yes, we did, and that's absolutely correct. If you continue to vote people in because they're either a Democrat or Republican without looking at what they stand for, then you deserve what you get. And that's the bottom line. At least for the Republican Party, we are advocating become an informed voter, go out and read what people are all about, and then vote for them. We think our candidates are the best people out there with their views, and they will align with most of our people's views or most of the voters' views. But the important point is that people go out there. They don't just assume this election is let's go vote all D or let's vote all R. They go out there and they actually look at issues that are important to them, where these candidates stand, and then vote accordingly. I mean, that would be perfect if people would just do that instead of voting.
Just a little bit at a time. Like it's not like we need sweeping change. We just need to get like all the children out of the game and let the adults get to work.
Nowadays, I'm not sure we have enough adults left after we take the children out.
Well, Madison Cawthorn was a good start.
Yeah, he kind of blew that up. They're all, he just kind of messed that up. Sometimes being too young is not a good thing. I always say that youth is wasted on the young. If I could steal some of their youth, God, and at 20 or 25 with what I know now, whoa, would there be a different world or my world would be much different.
Oh yeah, and some of the decisions you would remake.
Said in the future. Now, the next thing that people are saying that they like is that they all have a problem with the high cost of living. Can you imagine people saying that the fact that inflation is hitting the equivalent of 11% this month, they're having a problem with that? Unbelievable.
Well, I don't. I mean, I'm just rolling in cash, and I just love the fact that all the prices are going up and sucking away at my, hand-to-mouth existence.
Yeah, but I love you dearly, but rolling in Monopoly money is not the same thing as rolling in cash.
I didn't know until I got to the store that you can't pay with pink and yellow paper.
Well, you can in some countries. That's unfortunately not.
Sri Lanka works right now.
Yeah, probably. And, actually in England, I think they changed one of their bills to a pink color. So it might work there, too.
As a matter of fact, my political science teacher had pointed out that you can tell a lot about a civilization by looking at their currency. And with the level, and primarily what our currency says is that we are an untrustworthy hoodlums because all of our money is saturated with counterfeiting measures. Because if we were an honest society, we wouldn't need it. But we are a very dishonest and thieving society that our money has more counterfeiting options on it than it does actual words.
Well, I agree, but because the problem there has always been we have moved in the last 30 or 40 years away from individual responsibility, so it's somebody else's problem. Therefore, I can do whatever I want to do to get ahead without any moral code behind it.
Do you think it's going to require a complete meltdown of the system for the realization to occur, or is there hope for us at some point to get away from this decline, this pattern of ours?
I think what you're going to see is the greater majority of the country is buried or at least supportive of the values that we were started with. But the problem is that they're not actively involved. What has happened since COVID, and I think that was an unintended consequences, especially, for example, with schools, we've woke up the public, and they're now seeing what they like and don't like, and they're getting more and more involved. And as they get more and more involved, they will go back to many more of our traditional values and adopt and adjust them based on current thought. For example, someone says we want to go back to years ago, that we want to go back to racial discrimination. We had fixed that. We want to stay with that, but we want to go back to the basic values of family, et cetera, which we've thrown away and taken away. And we've also got to go back to the fact that we've got too much government. Government needs to get smaller and go back to its primary functions. And there's 16 primary functions in the Constitution that they have to do, which includes defending. Number one is defending the country from outside forces, and then you go in with printing money and things like this. but we've gone from 16 to 1,600, and that needs to shrink back a little bit. But I think the people are going to start getting involved. Again, my point with that would be COVID.
Huh.
Nobody knew. I think when the left, this is one of those days I never get phone calls, and today I can't stop.
Just step into the shower and watch the phone explode.
That's true. The next thing would be I'll be in the shower. I'd shut it down so it won't bother me for a while. So,
well, the problem with eliminating all of these government jobs is there's going to be a bunch of incompetent, skillless people that would be unemployed.
Well, the problem with what you said is whether they're working or not. By your definition, they're incompetent and skillless. So they need to be retrained and put into positions where they should be. Government has just gotten much too big. I mean, if you look at, do you know what the richest counties in the world are? And
the ones that aren't here in North Carolina?
It used to be surrounding, places like Scarsdale and Nassau and out in California. The richest counties in the world are surrounding Washington, D.C. Because we've gotten to the point where we're just paying a lot of people a lot of money, and we've made the government such a size that that's the problem. If you look at even at Virginia, Virginia is almost two different states. The northern part being primarily government workers, and that's primarily what it is very, very left of center or far left, depending how you want to look at it. Meanwhile, the rest of Virginia has stayed center right. So, and the problem is there's just so much money up there. People have, housing has gone off the roof, and people aren't going to change that.
I see what you did there.
I'm sorry?
When you said the housing prices have gone through the roof, I saw what you did there. Housing roof.
Oh, I'm glad it didn't go over your head.
It's the coffee, man. It's just now starting to make
good. I'm glad for that.
My neurons are waking up.
The other thing that you see out there, and again, when you talk about basics, the people are concerned about, bottom line is, how people are going to vote this year is going to, they vote primarily on their lifestyle and their budget. And no matter what you want to go out there and what you want to sing, if people having trouble paying their bills, having trouble getting a job, having trouble deciding if they should put gas in the car or buy food, pay their electric bill, they're going to vote that way. They're going to vote to change that. It doesn't matter all these other things that people are screaming and talking about. They're going to vote with their pocketbook. And that's what people need to understand. The majority of this country is 85% by the last survey said we're going in the wrong direction. And they're going to vote, and they're going to vote for what's going to put them back. To steal something that was put out by Reagan years ago, which is almost appropriate now, were you better off 4 years ago or today? Because if you look at everything going on, it's a disaster looking for a place to happen. And I have great hopes for this country because I think in 2022, we'll be able to get the votes we need to at least control the House and the Senate at the federal level and cut back on some of the wild spending that's going on, because the spending is just fueling inflation. And it truly is, regardless, and it's going to too many crony capitalist payments. It's going to people who don't necessarily need the money, and some of it is trickling down to where it needs to be, but the bulk of it is going to the wrong places.
Record profits for oil companies, etc., that kind of thing. Record profits for Amazon, record profits for big box chains. But
well, again, if you look at what's going on, you look at the big box chains, you look at the Amazon. Is there anything wrong with a profit? And the reality is, with supply chain issues around the country.
Well, I think it's more nefarious when you look at oil prices.
Will deliver it to you. So why wouldn't they have record profits? Because they have record sales. And assuming they're getting, and just picking a number, assuming they're getting a 7% profit, which is generally considered a decent return on your money, and you've doubled your sales, you're going to have record profits, though even it may be the same rate. So, I mean, without all that data, you can't talk on that kind of stuff.
Well, with the oil, it's a little bit more nefarious because it doesn't follow the same rules. That our gas prices go through the roof while their profits go through the roof, yet people are blaming the wrong group of people. This is a privatized affair that's handled by supply, demand, and what the company thinks they can get away with, what the market can bear. So if we jack gas to $7 a gallon, it has nothing to do with the president or the government in any way, shape, or form. It's, will the market bear $5 a gallon, and will people pay it? Yes, they will.
Well, the problem, it does have something to do with the supply issue, because if we have shut down our ability to become an exporter of oil, that is going to raise the price. Now, what I agree with you on, and I've always had a problem with this, they predict on what they're paying for oil 6 months from now. So if they're paying, and just picking a number, if they're paying $6 a gallon or $5 a gallon for oil 6 months from now, that doesn't mean the pump has to go up today to cover that $6. And I do have a problem with that part of it. But again, when you start looking at government intervention, I mean, if you go back, we were selling oil at $2 a gallon just a year or two ago, and they were still making great profits. The problem is the government has shut down our ability to do that. There's also, again, I've seen crony capitalism at work, and government with favors. It's been hidden, but when we released our oil reserves, strategic oil reserves to help out, which is only a temporary fix, because then you got to refill them again, and you got to buy the fuel, so it again puts pressure on the market. But when they did that, a million barrels of that oil ended up being shipped to China.
We should be producing a lot of that ourselves, yes.
We had that before this administration took over. We were not only producing enough energy to take care of our country, we were actually exporting energy to Europe and other places, and that made Europe, by having that energy going to them, for example, natural gas and fuel and oil, they were able to better resist the control of Russians, who were supplying a lot of their oil from the great fields that they have. But when you give them no other choice where to get it from, they have to fall under Russian, influence, if you would, sphere of influence, because no matter what you say, if that man or that country is providing 30 to 40% of your energy needs, you got to at least not do too much to take them off, because if they cut you off, you're in big trouble.
Yeah, and we it's even more frustrating when visiting when stories come across my desk about wasteful spending in transportation at the government level besides themselves.
Yep, absolutely agree that the best direction that I think long-term is what Trump started to do years ago, which was a private-public partnership where people invested in it, and the money was better spent, because the reality is, if a private business is doing it, they're going to watch their expenses, because it hits their profits. So they're not just going to throw the money and throw it into the pot. Oh, we need more money to make it work. Just throw more money at it, which is unfortunately the government's answer to everything. We just need more money there. That'll fix it. And it doesn't always fix it. And
it's been private innovation and industry that's driven a lot of the solutions. For example, for a while there, we had biodiesel being developed and distilled here in Wilmington, North Carolina, where they would take the old fryer oils, right, from the various restaurants and distill the biodiesel from that to put into vehicles, trucks, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm not sure why that wasn't given a bit more encouragement or support, but I think that may not have changed the world, but would have certainly made a difference.
I think also it might make a difference. Now, we use a lot of corn now to make fuel.
Yeah.
Which is percent in our fuel. But that, and I predicted this years ago, it's going to start to affect the market for food. Because if you're now growing food for fuel, you're not growing other things that people do need to consume. And you got to remember, we feed ourselves in a lot of the world from what we grow. And the more we divert it to non-food things, the worse it is for other countries. Because again, they say, World Health Organization projects 80% of the world lives in poverty at varying levels. So food is always an issue. I mean, we're very fortunate here that even with these, quote, shortages, there's no real reason for anyone to be hungry between government programs and food banks and whatever else that are out there, and the ability to buy food. So we are very fortunate. The food is out there at the same time. I have a great problem when we run out of bread or ice cream, but that's a big issue for me. But I don't think ice cream is listed as a major staple.
Now, one of the issues when talking with Dr. Cahoon is the amount of water that a given acre of land requires. And looking at situations like Lake Mead and Lake Powell, I believe it is, both of those are 70% below capacity. So they're holding, it's down low enough that some of the hydroelectric power at Hoover Dam has actually been taken offline. There's not enough water. And I believe this weekend they stopped all recreational stuff on the lake because there's no lake left. And now we got to try and, when raising our food, raising our fuel is all going to require more of the water that we have less of. So, yeah, we're about to get hit on both ends and the middle.
Yeah, and the other thing, if you remember, when you go to California, all those tremendous fertile areas in California that grew food for us are actually drying up because they can't get water, because they have, to protect a certain kind of fish, I don't remember what the type it was, they have stopped them from damming and diverting water, so this fish will thrive and survive so it doesn't go to extinction. Well, there's got to be a middle ground someplace.
Right.
But we're not playing middle grounds, we're playing eds. We don't need to wide open and kill off all the fish. Same token, there's got to be a way to get water to these farms so they can be productive and those owners can make money, and we can have the food we need to support the population here and around the world. But again, we don't look at that. It's either A or B. There's nothing in between.
And that's why I want to look for solutions, not necessarily in our political forum, because those are all MBAs and lawyers. None of them are scientists. Dr. Cahoon is an oceanographer, a limnologist, and has like 3 PhDs to help him more accurately understand what's involved and the subtleties in the play between what's happening in, say, the Cape Fear, the Intercoastal, and the open ocean. But if we don't have that type of education in our government bodies, we're screwed. We have a bunch of stupid people that are, like Ocasio, that's talking complete nonsense when it comes to how energies work. She has no idea how energy is generated or even what it is. We have most of our politicians have absolutely no scientific literacy whatsoever, and they're voting on these processes.
There was a study, and this goes back about 30, 40 years, in Russia and China, both under communism. They set up all their communes, and everybody worked the common property, and they did basically what they had to do and nothing more. And they weren't producing a lot of anything. What the government finally got their head out of their butt and decided to do, we'll make you work that, but we're also going to give you a small plot of land that's yours.
Oh, like we did the Native Americans in New Mexico, Arizona, and Oklahoma?
Something like that, yeah. But except we gave them good land and good fertile land. And what was ending up happening is they were actually ended up growing more food and better food on those little plots than they were on the communes. But it did address the process, because the bottom line is still, if you don't have some sort of a capitalistic operation that motivates people to develop things, to invent things, to find processes that will make things better. And again, they will benefit themselves and others by doing it. You're going to get nothing. What does it benefit if I do the same work as you do, and you're a genius that can invent something, but whatever you do is not going to change your lifestyle at all? So why do you bother? But if you knew, on the other hand, that by making this, you could take care of yourself, your friends, family, and other people, and at the same time better the world or the country, you're going to do it. And that's what capitalism in its purest form is working for. Does it need some controls? Absolutely. Does it need crony capitalism? Absolutely not. But this whole country and all the technology come off capitalism, because the private sector went out there to make some money, and somebody decided he can invent something that would make life better for everybody else. Look at the ultimate one is Bill Gates. Windows. You can't go even better. The ultimate. He came out and he started by just making up viruses and then selling selling the counter or the antidotes for them, and then he got into windows, and the story is beyond that. Have you been paying attention to what's going on in with the Dutch farmers?
No. Those are the guys that do tulips, right?
Oh no, those are the guys that actually grow food and maybe tulips too. But there's a massive strike going on over there between the farmers because the Netherlands has decreed that because of the large amount of immigration that they picked up into their country, because remember, European Union is no borders, so they go if people get in, they go anywhere. They've told all the Dutch farmers that they're going to be forced to give up 30% of their land, where the government will use it to build housing for the immigrants coming into the country. They're just giving it up. The farmers are striking. They're doing everything they can to stop it, and they're also telling them that they want them to do green growing, which is certain foods and certain items, and control what's being grown. And that's a disaster looking for a place to happen. And if you think it can't happen here, something that it's being done under the wire, if you will, or behind people's backs. Guess who's buying up as much farmland as he can possibly buy?
Bezos.
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates, okay. Now, I thought he was still up in the healthcare thing. He was going to...
Yeah, but if he gets to own a good slice of the farmland, he gets to control what's being grown. And then they can do what they want. And, again, the capitalism and needs to function in its best form, which allows people to develop innovative ideas, benefit from those ideas, and then what they develop benefits others too. But when you start controlling everything, and you talked about monopolies, whatever you want. If Bill Gates succeeds in buying up a majority of the property of the farmlands in this country, that's scary. What's he going to do with it? Is he going to build housing? Is he going to do his own farm or green energy or green growing, and only allows certain foods to be grown, which will put them on the market, and the rest of it there'll be shortages on. So,
well, as long as he's paying for the water, I'm not worried about it.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, that must mean good food.
Well, as long as he's, like I said, as long as he's paying for the water, we should be good.
Well, I'm sure he'll pay for that, to be fair. The man has his own ideals, but he's still honorable about paying his debts and bills. So that I'm sure he'll do. I just get concerned with that. It bothers me to a great extent. But what am I to know? I'm just a humble, quiet county sheriff trying to get through the times. Quiet. By the way, we have good news to share with you. And this is just literally came out last week on the 9th of September, which is a Friday night. Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson is coming to Brunswick County, and he'll be the keynote speaker at a dinner here. So people will be putting information out on that shortly. But he's a phenomenal speaker, and he can motivate a rock. So to hear him talk is worth coming to the dinner. There'll be information on it posted within the week, how to get your tickets to come and show. It is a fundraiser for the county, so we can help support this 2022 election. But Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson has agreed to be our keynote speaker for that dinner. And like I said, if you haven't heard Mark Robinson before, you need to. And once you hear him, you just won't believe it. It would be like the equivalent of before or after him. It's like being the act before or after the Beatles.
Right. You're just not going to have anybody left in the room.
Right. You're coming in tinny, TK. I'm not hearing you.
I was going to say, there's going to be nobody left in the room. We're having internet issues over here.
Okay. But I'm looking forward to Lieutenant Governor Robinson. He's very, very much into education and making sure that we do something unique, like teach reading, writing, and arithmetic, and cut all the other garbage out and teach what we need to teach. And that'll be a topic that we'll cover tonight and maybe next week when we have some more time. What the NEA actually stood for and passed at their convention that was just a couple of weeks ago.
So we may have to do something special when he comes to town.
Well, that would be nice. You guys, if you guys even want to, we might set up a coverage if you're interested. We can talk about that.
Yeah. Okay.
And we can talk about maybe covering the actual event. The other thing, that there may be a second big name guest coming, and I'm not going to announce that because it's still in the works. But hopefully, we'll be able to have a dual keynote speaker there, which is going to be phenomenal. But anyway, September 9th, it's going to be in St. James Community Center, and the information on it will be out within the week. So we're looking forward to people coming and listening to Lieutenant Governor Robinson because he is a phenomenal speaker. Like I said, he can motivate a rock.
Nice. And we also have I'm just sorry, a lot of neurons crossed at the same time there. Because I'm excited about having good conversations. At the same time, I'm looking at the clock. At the same time, I'm having a tech trying to respond to why my internet is behaving the way it is.
So maybe it's time for me to get off and let you do what you need to do.
I think so. We're going to do a little bit of music before we go into the break while I answer a question from these folks. And then we will. I will be back. You will be back tomorrow night.
And I will be back next Monday, too.
As long as you're in town. If you take off to Canada for 6 weeks again, it's going to be a lost leader. Right? No going to Canada for you for a while.
All right, have a good one. Talk to him.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that in mind, I got a bunch of buttons I got to hit and make things happen here. So, all right. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back on the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. You're tuned in to the Big Talker Network, Wilmington, North Carolina's premier internet station for news and talk radio programming. Find us online at bigtalker.live.
This show is also sponsored by Dr. Tony Maglione. Dr. Tony is a cardiologist practicing in Wilmington. He accepts Medicare patients, and his office is located across the street from New Hanover Regional Medical Center at 2032 17th Street. The office number is 202-1071. Dr. Tony is an author whose last book is Rules for Conservative Patriots, and it can be purchased on Amazon. His website is www.drtonymag.com.
Teachers and parents, the North Carolina Symphony is here to support you as you carry on the education of your children and students. Take your kids on a free virtual field trip to the Symphony with a virtual education concert and companion student book. Go on a virtual journey to learn what makes music music with music by William Grant Still, Beethoven, Brahms, and more. Access the free video and student book with password 1932 at ncsymphony.org/virtual.
Hello, I'm Matt Bennett with WWAY News. Former Wilmington Police Chief Daryl Lee Brussel has died. Wilmington Police made the announcement Sunday, saying the former chief touched the lives of many in the community. The 88-year-old was appointed to serve as chief of the Wilmington Police Department in 1975 and served with distinction until his retirement in 1991, the longest-serving chief of police in Wilmington's history. A celebration of life memorial service will be held on Friday morning at 10 Park Presbyterian Church on Wrightsville Avenue. Wilmington police have arrested a man after an apparent shooting Friday night. Officers responding to a shots fired call near Medding Road around 8:30 noticed that a vehicle had been struck. They were able to obtain a suspect vehicle description and later located and stopped the car in the 4200 block of Hoggard Drive. Police arrested 18-year-old Anthony Gwynn. He is charged with carrying a concealed weapon, discharging a firearm within city limits, and going armed to the terror of the public. He is being held at the New Hanover County Detention Center under a $50,000 bond. Mother Hubbard's Cupboard has gotten a $4,500 grant from the Food Lion Feeds Charitable Foundation. The organization will use the gift to purchase food for many people experiencing food insecurity in the Cape Fear region. Mother Hubbard's Cupboard serves the hungry in the Wilmington area through distributing emergency food provided by volunteers in collaboration with community organizations and businesses. And if you're hoping to hit it big on the lottery, you have another chance this week. The Mega Millions jackpot is expected to grow to $530 million for Tuesday's drawing, after Friday's drawing failed to produce a winner. That makes it the 8th highest in Mega Millions history. For more on these stories, you can head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Matt Bennett. Have a great day.
Happy Monday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Storm Track 3 forecast. A few scattered showers and storms in store for us on this Monday, especially as we head into the early afternoon hours with our temperatures climbing all the way up into the upper 80s and the low 90s for inland communities, middle and upper 80s for the coast, with a high-end risk for rip currents for south-facing beaches later today. As for tonight, expecting mainly quiet conditions across the Cape Fear as we drop down to the middle and the upper 70s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
Though we have all heard the nickname Tar Heels given to North Carolinians, not everyone knows its connection to the war between the states. North Carolina had been well known as a leading supplier of tar and pitch, used in shipbuilding since colonial times. During one battle, a regiment of North Carolinians met troops from another state who were retreating. One of them jokingly asked, "Is there any tar left in the old North State?" To which a North Carolinian replied, "Jeff Davis bought it all to put on your heels so you'll stick better in the next fight." Upon hearing of the incident, General Robert E. Lee said, "God bless the Tar Heel boys." From that day forward, North Carolinians have proudly carried the name Tar Heels as a part of their Confederate heritage. This message has been brought to you by the North Carolina Division of the Sons of Confederate Veterans, who encourage everyone to learn more about and help preserve their precious Southern heritage.
O'Leary's Automotive Repair has multiple locations in the area in Hampstead, Leland, the Myrtle Grove area, Ogden, and Wrightsboro. O'Leary's Automotive Repair, a trusted, locally owned business since 2006.
Would you believe it's a thermal thing? That's what it is. That's right. For computers, just a little overheated at the moment and causing all kinds of issues. So I'm going to see if I can't figure this out. Clean this up. You know, make it a little smoother, a little nicer. So, keep the machines cool. That's very, very important. There we go. I don't know why you're being difficult. Hopefully, I was hoping to, but it's not going to happen right now. Let's see. Sorry. Oh, okay. All right, so actually he has to go. I don't think we're going to have him for very long whatsoever, and certainly not with all the internet issues that I'm having. This is no fun at all. But I want smart people on my show. I really do. I'm trying to get you in there. But with the limited amount of space that I have to do this with, makes it very, very difficult to get things done. And in so doing, this is where I end up. Trying to get things done on the DL. There we go. Now I think I'm ready for you. Whew. Man, what a morning. See, this is why I want a morning show talent, so they can handle the talking part while I handle all this stuff. And, you know, then maybe I wouldn't forget to cool off my poor computer who's over here roasting. probably in the Kelvin scale. All right. So we're still going nuts on the lady in New York who was making it difficult for everybody else to get along. And New York, I think, is just a corrupt place from top to bottom. Whether you're, I don't trust anybody. It's hard to trust anybody in New York. Certainly from the government down. I mean, Giuliani, Cuomo, and now this lady. Are you kidding me? Now, she's not alone. Here's the part that should be very, very aggravating to everybody. Governors of both parties from states including Pennsylvania, Virginia, Kentucky, and South Dakota have similarly dismissed controversies. Let's see, have similarly dismissed controversies about their use of taxpayer-funded aircraft. Some have avoided criticism over their travel habits through a variety of approaches that have avoided making taxpayers pick up the tab. Apparently, former Florida Governor Rick Scott used his personal wealth to fly, while former California Governor Jerry Brown flew commercial except when traveling to disasters after facing criticisms during his term as state attorney general. Since becoming the first female governor in state history following the resignation of Cuomo amid a litany of scandals, Hochul was vowed to make the state government more transparent and accountable. At first, the governor, like Cuomo, released public schedules showing when and where she used state aircraft, but she has not done so since March. The governor's spokesperson attempted to dismiss the apparent lack of accountability for the trips from Hochul, claiming that the transparent and voluntary release of schedules is the entire basis for this story. Records obtained by the Post from Flight Tracker FlightAware, however, show 49 flights by the King Air 350, 33 more trips by the Sikorsky Chopper between April and August. Though that record is almost certainly incomplete, it also remains unclear to what extent the governor was on those flights or others during that period. You believe that? A New York State Police spokesman confirmed the agency has requested that the FAA block the public release of flight details by state aircraft for security reasons. What? They've already gone, right? That flight has already done its thing. Releasing its information due to security reasons is a load of crap. I can understand not releasing a itinerary that's upcoming or that's in process, but for a trip that's already occurred, no, that's no security. That's already over. The agency covers costs for a total of 5 aircraft at the disposal of the governor and other top officials out of its general operations budget. Though Hochul leans on the Sikorsky helicopter and the King Air 350, they are also available for law enforcement missions if needed. Executive travel compromises about 14% of our operational missions, said spokesman William Duffy in a statement about the use of the 5 aircraft. Records show Hochul, has taken at least 10 commercial flights, 9 private flights, and a train trip from New York City to Washington, D.C. in her first 7 months as governor, demonstrating that state aircraft are not the only way to move around the Empire State. Gas prices have also dropped in recent weeks alongside a suspension of state gas taxes approved by Albany Democrats in the state budget that knocks off 16 cents per gallon. With the current Hochul administration calling for action to change, however, fewer lead-spewing flights could help her avoid the years of criticism that shadowed her predecessor's use of state choppers and airplanes. There are There are public servants who try to lead by example. This is the exact opposite approach, Barclay, the Assembly minority, said. State aircraft give hope to a big boost over Republican gubernatorial nominee Lee Zeldin, a Republican out of Suffolk County, by allowing her to pop up at ribbon cuttings, policy announcements, COVID-19 briefings, and private events, which could include campaign events across the state. She has raised more than $34 million for her campaign since becoming governor, with campaign finance disclosure showing her with $11.7 million cash on hand, compared to just $1.57 million for Zeldin. It's obviously an advantage over an opponent. Former Governor David Patterson, a Democrat, told the Post. Zeldin, who has been endorsed by the Post's editorial board, has vowed to take another path if elected as the first Republican governor in 2 decades. Unlike Kathy Hochul as governor, I would be using state aircraft far, far less than she does. It's also extremely important that it's for an official purpose, the congressman said in a statement. The GOP standard bearer is not the first gubernatorial wannabe who has vowed to do better by taxpayers when it comes to using state aircraft, according to the nonprofit New York Public Interest Research Group Executive Director Blair Horner. They come in, they promise the moon and the stars, Horner said, of unfulfilled promises to change the scandal-plagued ways of Albany. Former Governor Mario Cuomo got guffed during his 3 terms in office during the 80s and early 90s for letting family members like his son Andrew ride on state aircraft. His Republican successor, Governor Pataki, also caught flack over his air travel use, using the issue to beat Mario Cuomo in the 94 gubernatorial election. Hochul has faced political resignation of her first lieutenant governor, Brian Benjamin, following his federal arrest for alleged involvement in a bribery scheme. Her campaign has also paid back the state $11,000 earlier in the year after reporting by the Times Union highlighted how Hochul used state aircraft to reach campaign fundraisers. The vast majority of flights, like the trip to the Bills game, were never reimbursed according to her public schedules. The governor has not been governor that long yet, right? But I think it's fair to say she's had a bumpy start. That's where we were earlier. Can you believe that? The scandals, the criminality, the just BS that absolutely destroys us from the inside. I mean, we're worried about people attacking us from somewhere else. No. We got it bad enough right here, man. Look what our own compatriots are doing to us. We're supposed to be protecting from, threats, both within and without. Within our borders and from without our borders, or beyond our borders. And yet here we are electing them. I mean, that's a lot of scandal for the people that we elect to represent us. So, are we scandalous human beings? Is that our thing? Is that why we can't have anything nice? Is that the deal? I mean, that's got to be it. We are just terrible, terrible, horrible human beings. But what do you expect? I mean, we're fat. We're horrible. Right? We live in the richest, country on the planet. Shows in our horrible habits of driving, eating. I mean, we're horrible. No wonder the rest of the world hates us. We're just horrible human beings. Hominis Americanus. Remember that phrase. It will never be wrong. I promise. It will never be wrong. All right. Nope, not you. Ha! This one's always fun. That's right. The Big Talker will be right back after these messages. and news and weather break. As we ride out our last half hour here on the Big Talker, go visit the Big Talker website, peruse our schedule of content, download the app for Android, iOS devices. Have a great time, and we will be right back. Don't go nowhere.
Hello, I'm Matt Bennett with WWAY News. Former Wilmington Police Chief Daryl Lee Brussel has died. Wilmington Police made the announcement Sunday, saying the former chief touched the lives of many in the community. The 88-year-old was appointed to serve as chief of the Wilmington Police Department in 1975 and served with distinction until his retirement in 1991, the longest-serving chief of police in Wilmington's history. A celebration of life memorial service will be held on Friday morning at 10 at Winter Park Presbyterian Church on Wrightsville Avenue. Wilmington police have arrested a man after an apparent shooting Friday night. Officers responding to a shots fired call near Medding Road around 8:30 noticed that a vehicle had been struck. They were able to obtain a suspect vehicle description and later located and stopped the car in the 4200 block of Hoggard Drive. Police arrested 18-year-old Anthony Gwynn. He is charged with carrying a concealed weapon, discharging a firearm within city limits, and going armed to the terror of the public. He is being held at the New Hanover County Detention Center under a $50,000 bond. Mother Hubbard's Cupboard has gotten a $4,500 grant from the Food Lion Feeds Charitable Foundation. The organization will use the gift to purchase food for many people experiencing food insecurity in the Cape Fear region. Mother Hubbard's Cupboard serves the hungry in the Wilmington area through distributing emergency food provided by volunteers in collaboration with community organizations and businesses. And if you're hoping to hit it big on the lottery, you have another chance this week. The Mega Millions jackpot is expected to grow to $530 million for Tuesday's drawing, after Friday's drawing failed to produce a winner. That makes it the 8th highest in Mega Millions history. For more on these stories, you can head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Matt Bennett. Have a great day.
Happy Monday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Storm Track 3 forecast. A few scattered showers and storms in store for us on this Monday, especially as we head into the early afternoon hours with our temperatures climbing all the way up into the upper 80s and the low 90s for inland communities, middle and upper 80s for the coast, with a high-end risk for rip currents for south-facing beaches later today. As for tonight, expecting mainly quiet conditions across the Cape Fear as we drop down to the middle and the upper 70s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
Marine Service Pro and the Tackle Box Seafood, located at 8210 River Road, Southport, is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, with the Tackle Box open Monday through Saturday, 7 to 6. Marine Service Pro is a full Suzuki and Tohatsu dealership. They deal in pre-owned boats, full service and repair, with certified technicians in all engines, and fiberglass specialists. The Tackle Box offers fresh, local seafood, live bait, a tackle shop, and fish packing and shipping. They also offer a full-service U-Haul dealership. Spend time with Leon or Jenny for one-stop shopping at Marine Service Pro and the Tackle Box Seafood, 8210 River Road, Southport.
Enjoying Big Talker Network is as easy as asking for it. Program your digital home assistants such as Google Home, Alexa, and Siri to stream Big Talker Network content by simple voice command. Enjoy convenient hands-free access to program whenever you want, however you want, by asking for Big Talker.
Haha. I was ready for you. Really. Welcome back to the Asylum, your refuge here in a world gone mad. Here on the Big Talker Network, bigtalker.live. Please visit our website, peruse the schedule of content, download the app for Android, iOS device. Send us an email with any comments, questions, concerns, compliments, or critiques you may have, because we can't improve without your help. Oh, yeah, and sorry to hear our next guest is Still waiting in line for some health care. Oh, yeah, it's been a fun morning. Okay, enough of that. Yeah, I blowed it up. I blowed it up done good. I blowed it up done real good. That's right. It was a hard work, man. I had to do some work to it to make it happen, and sure enough, it worked. Whoops. I didn't mean to, but that's what happened. But it's all, I mean, here... When you make a mistake, you learn from it. Period. Usually, most people are able to learn from other people's experience. For example, if it's really cold, wet, rainy, snowy, sleety, icy, and miserable, you're tuned in to the Big Talker Network, Wilmington, North Carolina's premier internet station for news and talk radio programming. Find us online at bigtalker.live.
There has never been a better time to go to college. Class of 2021 high school graduates, you don't want to miss this. You may be eligible to have your tuition and fees covered at Cape Fear.
That was really weird. Okay. We learn from other people's experiences, other people's mistakes. Right? Well, apparently our politicians are incapable of learning things. For example, if the predecessor in your political office was ousted because of their inappropriate behaviors, then maybe exhibiting inappropriate behaviors is something you should learn not to do as a result of somebody else's experience. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. But it doesn't seem natural to me to not learn from what somebody else had already done. That's kind of how school is supposed to work. You know? I could be wrong, but, you know, when you go to school, the person teaching you has already learned this stuff. So you learn from their knowledge. That's how you learn in any business. That's how this whole thing works. However, it seems that many of us are incapable of that experience or learning from previous experience or learning from our own mistakes. Now, as Larry likes to say, wisdom comes from experience. Experience comes with scars. And that's sort of what's happening here. At least I'm making progress. I am trying something. I am doing things. I am expanding and building. And doesn't always work, but it doesn't always fail either. So, we will continue to work on that because we want to bring all kind of cool things to you, our friends, colleagues, listeners, supporters. And those things should, if they don't already, include things like live music performances from The Voice and the Pen, which happens every Wednesday. Just a reminder. And of course, that's my gig. I enjoy doing that. And I want it to be cooler, faster, stronger, easier, right? So that when I roll up, it's not a 2-hour setup. I want to get it down to, 40 minutes or less if I can. So I can just roll up and be Mr. Happy and make the show happen. Introduce new talent to the area. Let y'all meet them yourselves. Have some fun. Here's some good new live music performed by the people who wrote it. Where else are you going to find out about live music? Where else are you going to find out about new talent in our neighborhood, huh? Only here on the Big Talker. We introduce you to The Voice and the Pen, all the new talent, all the fresh songwriters coming out of, well, mostly North Carolina, but I'm sure our reach will extend before long, because we are becoming more and more popular, which I really appreciate. Because our reach extends far beyond the North Carolina borders, and that's the work that I'm doing. That even if probably not the best morning show on the planet, I'm not going to lie. Not going to hide from it either. But all the production capability is what I'm highlighting here. So while it is that I may be a babbling idiot, which is fine, I'm not the only one, and I'm not running for office. So I'm a little bit more aware to not, do that kind of thing. Because I know that I shouldn't be in office. I don't have all the answers. I got answers that work for me. And I can offer that, and that's about it. And when I make a mistake, I will tell you what happened, what I did, and what I did to correct it. Or, if something happened, what it is I can do. And if I don't know, guess what? I'm going to start asking. And I'm not going to ask lawyers how to fix an internet problem. Right? I'm going to ask a lawyer how to fix my lawyer problem. If I have trouble with the water flowing through my house, I'm not going to call an MBA. No, I'm going to call a plumber, somebody who knows what the hell is going on. Why do we continue to elect idiots to office? Now, to be fair, if a candidate or a politico person is going to make a mistake, they should be allowed to do so without crucifixion. However, there's a difference between grifting or free riding and, say, making a mistake. Because if you're grifting and going to the Bills opening game on your taxpayers' money to fly you there in private first class, stuff that other people don't get to have. That's where I think we need to draw the line. Like Madison Cawthorn was a great example of that. He pointed out on a number of occasions that indeed it was going to be ridiculous to try and come on, you piece of crap. You're trying to live above the law because he is the law, or whatever it was he thought was going on. That was just ridiculous. That's not going to help. Carrying your stuff on an airplane, driving without a license and getting caught for it, and then trying to get mad about it, get off of me. You didn't learn from the last group of people who did this and screwed it all up. And now you're going to replay, and enjoy the same type of scandal and BS. So what we need are some actual rational human beings, adults. And I don't think they should be MBAs. I don't think they should be lawyers, right? The country was founded when our political people who were elected were actually like farmers and business owners. I mean, how embarrassing, and I will still use this as an example because of how much it was hyped, right? The whole Committee on Women's Health, not one woman was in the room, not one woman was in that meeting. That's who we are. That's American. That's hominis Americanus right there. Fast forward about 10 years, 12 years, I guess. The entire country on fire because of this, that, and the other thing, and dealing with stuff that's absolutely not your business, has nothing to do with you, not your concern. And it should follow along all the way through. For example, there seems to be a lot of people that are bent out of shape if they see a mother breastfeeding. Oh my. Karens have even gotten upset when animals were being animals in the zoo. I don't want to have to explain to my child what the elephants were doing. Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, that's your job. You're a parent. You don't want education of that nature being taught in school. Well, guess what? They're going to learn it in one of two places. Trial by fire, or whatever crap you come up with as a parent. So, pick your battles wisely, ladies and gentlemen. And realize a lot of those awkward conversations need to happen, both in the hallowed halls of justice and in the hallowed halls of your own home. So trying to blame it on someone else, blame it on the government, blame it on the schools, blame it on the teachers. No. It starts at home. It starts with you. It starts with your family. It starts with your neighbors on the street. It starts with your community. And it starts with the realization that you're being snowed. All of them, red, green, blue, doesn't matter what party they're coming from. They're in it for one thing, not you. And that has been the case since Nixon, at least. Why else would there be such widespread corruption and cover-ups of everything under the sun, whether it has to do with Watergate or Toiletgate or whatever else, right? Sex in the Oval Office with an intern when you're married. Who hasn't done that? It's not like we all get treated the same. Correct me if I'm wrong. But we don't have the same health care at all. We don't have the same power structure available to us. And are being funded. I mean, these are people that have absolutely no marketable skill outside of even showing up to some of the congressional meetings and hearings and stuff. And how they get there, of course. I mean, why are we paying them if they're allowed to fly all over? And I'm sure she didn't pay for her tickets to the opening night for the Buffalo Bills. So they don't pay for anything, right? Their food is on budget. Their travel is on budget. Why are we giving them a salary? And if you really want to clean up politics, one of the first things you're going to need / want to do is get money out of politics. Eliminate the lobbyists completely. No more money in politics. No more PACs. No more super PACs. No more campaign advertisements on television. All you get are a series of debates that are held by, I would want to say, a developing program such as Junior Achievers or Junior League or 4-H or whatever, one of those. Because as Bill pointed out, our younger generation is not involved as they should be. There are groups like, the TARS, what is that? Young Republicans, whatever. Different groups. But they're the minority. Right? Because they're trying to get them involved at 16 so that by the time they're 18, they're somewhat educated on what's going on. In our school, in my day, that was called civics, right? We had to understand the Declaration of Independence, and we had to understand, not just learn, under the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, as well as the rest of the amendments. Now, it has been a minute. I don't have them all memorized. They are not all in my skull on a daily basis. But at least we were educated to it, that there are times when somebody says, hey, it's in the Constitution, it's my right. No, that's not in the Constitution, Junior. Not at all. Have you read the Constitution? No, man, it's too long. Then how do you know what's in it if you never read it? And how do you know it's too long? It's 7 paragraphs, 5 of which are functional. If you really want to talk about a long read, the long read are all of the amendments, the Bill of Rights, as well as the rest of the amendments. One of which should be instated is that no one is above the law. It should go without saying. However, we need to say it. Apparently. So whether you're an elected official or Joe Plumber, as everybody seemed to have fun with a few months ago, you commit a crime, you go to jail. Doesn't matter if you're rich, doesn't matter if you're an elected official, doesn't matter. Commit a crime, expect to do some time. Period. That's the way it works for the rest of us, right? It's sort of how we define our behaviors. There are times that we want to be a less than good person, and it's our education, it's for learning from other people's mistakes that maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I shouldn't behave in this manner. And there are times making a mistake is overstepping your own space, your own place, your own set of rights and responsibilities. For example, in driving, if you notice that most of the traffic has come to a complete stop and you decide to go barreling down the inside left turn lane, whatever happens from that point on is extremely your fault. It's not a mistake. That was an active decision to be stupid. Just like getting on an airplane to go see the Bills opening game, that wasn't a mistake. That was stupid. Trying to take a gun on an airplane, that wasn't a mistake. That was stupid. Being stopped 3 times for driving without a license, that wasn't a mistake. That was stupid. Stupid needs to be punished. Mistakes are educational. Hitting a wrong note at the bad time, yeah, that'll teach you. It wasn't stupid, it was a mistake. Doing 70 in a 55, or in a 45, is what happened recently here in our little town. That wasn't a mistake. That was stupid. So I think we need to start holding our politicians to account on a more reasonable, easily defined scale. Is what you did stupid, or is what you did a mistake? If you made a mistake, you were trying something and you tried something with this policy and it didn't achieve the goals that you wanted, it wasn't necessarily stupid, it was a mistake. We tried, it failed, let's try something else. Try something new, try something different. But if you're hopping an airplane to go visit family while the taxpayers pay for it, that's not a mistake, that's stupid. And there's more than plenty of examples, living, breathing, walking examples of this. And not just here. That's the unique part. That's the fun part. At least we know it's not limited to hominis americanus. Boris Johnson, right? Sri Lanka. I don't even know the guy's name. Who's that jackhole over in Turkey? Erdogan? Jackhole. The one guy standing between Ukraine joining the NATO alliance. Yeah, well, guess what? Your country's not perfect either, buddy. So if you're going to, pluck the log from your neighbor's eye, remove the splinter from your own, or whatever that is. But yeah, we all like to point fingers because it's your fault. You're to blame. And the thing is, like the gig that happened Friday at Bald Head Island. By the way, Bald Head Island transportation people need to pull your head out of your backside. Learn how to do your job. Our gig was canceled or ended up getting canceled because our equipment never left Deep Point Marina where those idiot kids, incompetent boobs, never bothered to put our equipment on the boat. So it never got on the ferry. It never got to the island. We sat around for an hour while they tried to find our stuff. right? By the time we got 3.5 hours later, we're back on the mainland looking at my dolly. And in my dolly, these people had stuffed other people's luggage. So there's somebody on the island who's been waiting now over 4 hours for their luggage. And nobody knows where it is. The only reason why it was ever discovered, pointed out, or brought to anyone's attention is because I stopped one of the kids and said, hey, this stuff needs to go to the island. Whose is it? I don't know. That's your job. You screwed it up by putting it into my dolly. You do not put civilian gear into a band dolly, period. And the band dolly, marked with a tag on the outside that says band, should be the first item on. To make sure the performers and their equipment make it to the island to do the job that they were hired to do. The club had to pay us. Because we did everything right. Transportation, Bald Head Island Transportation Company screwed us. And the venue. So the venue's out a few $100. Because they're also paying for our parking. They're also paying for our transportation, right? Our ferry pass. They're paying for all that. Plus our performance fee. Screwed up because of some arrogant, stupid 14-year-old kid not paying attention, not doing his job. And the thing is, you're probably going to elect him in a few years. And that scares the living hell out of me. Because we have no accountability. We have no sense of importance to what these jobs are. We're just hire any old buddy that looks cute, got money. Oh, look, he's a friend of Trump. He's going to be a good leader in our society. No, the guy's a grifting criminal. He's a thug trying to carry his gun on an airplane because he's cooler than everybody else. Right? These are who you elected. The guy who lied about his car wreck. Nah, I don't know. We need better people. Because this just isn't working, man. Just straight up is not working. All right, with that in mind, we're going to straighten out some of these problems. See if I can't get this internet stabilized a little more. And, tell you what. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow morning right here on the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. One of the greatest places you could ever want to be. See you tomorrow. You're tuned in to the Big Talker Network, Wilmington, North Carolina's premier internet station for news and talk radio programming. Find us online at bigtalker.live.